I wanted to talk about money being an energy. It's a discussion that I've been seeing in the spiritual wellness space for quite some time now, and it's a very heated, can sometimes be a very heated topic because oftentimes in the spiritual wellness space, we like to dismiss things that have to do with material existence. We are spirits having a human experience and cannot discount and dismiss the real, tangible things that we have to do on this earth in order to survive. When we try to escape conversations around materialism as well as escaping conversations around spiritualism, we really rob ourselves of finding peace and joy in the in-between and learning how to balance these two very different energies. We don't see money as something that is spiritual or energetic. We see it as just like this physical thing that we hold in our hands or that's in our bank account. And we feel like how we feel about money and the ways in which we show up in making certain financial decisions have nothing to do with our financial outcome, which is farther from the truth. As someone who has been a holistic wealth coach for almost 3-4 years now, just having had her own experiences, both with navigating finances in a physical sense and navigating my understanding of abundance in a more energetic sense, I feel like I can create this video today to drop some wisdom and have some discussion around what really is the energetics of money. Is money just a vibration and energy? And is it that we don't know how to tap into that vibration and energy therefore that is the reason why we are in maybe the poor financial circumstances that we often find ourselves in. I think when it comes to understanding money and energetics, the first thing that we have to look at is money. Money is this physical cash or currency or whatever it looks like to you. And it is in using money we are able to support our livelihoods, right? We use money to decide what food we're going to buy. We use money to build shelters. We use this physical resource that everybody can agree that is of value to exchange things with, buy, sell, and everything in between. Money can also be what we associate with what is in our bank accounts, right? Money is not only physical, it is also found online on digital platforms. For some people, they have a better association with money in those regards. Like for me, I'm not someone who tends to carry a lot of cash around. I'm someone that utilizes my different bank accounts to make transactions and to exchange with people, right? So there are different ways to utilize money to initiate those exchanges. Energy is something that can't be seen. It's not tangible. Energy is more a feeling. It is, whether you want to call it a vibration or a frequency, every living thing on this planet, whether it is an animate object or an inanimate object, has some vibrational element to it. We are all made up of the same particular atoms. If we break down what we see into a molecular composition, and from that molecular composition break it down into its cells, and breaking it down from its cells into eventually what would be the atom, right? The atom is like the smallest singular unit that is the creation of all things. It is from this atom that it becomes the building block to create everything that we see here today, right? And a lot of the things that are even happening in our bodies, we can't see it, but we know it's working, right? We know we have a heart, even though we haven't actually looked at our own heart and taken it out of our chest. But we know that there are things in our body working together so we can be here, right? So I can see you, hear you, smell and taste the things around me. It is the senses, right? It is engaging with the senses. You know what vibration is, what energy is. When you walk into a room and something feels off, maybe before you got there, there was a fight in that same space. or someone passed away in that same space. There is always, energy is always in motion, it is moving, and at any given time, the great thing about energy is you can change it, whether it's internal or external. You can change your external environment to shift how you feel. And you can also choose to, through the mind, shift your perspective to change how you feel about something. And that is why so much of the change that we go after in our lives really starts with ourselves, because it's an internal thing. Whatever you deal with on the internal becomes an extension of what you project out into the external. Now, I believe that money is not just energy, right? Because as I said earlier, that it is, as we understand money in a physical sense, in a material sense, it is this physical object or idea that we can see. We can see the numbers in our bank account. We can quantify it, right? But when we're talking about money as an energy, we're not just talking about the qualifiable. We're talking about the quality of the experience, which is why I also attach feelings to that quality of experience. Whether in a material or a spiritual sense, everything we do has a give and a take component. Sometimes we give too much and sometimes people take from us, right? And it can go either way. Both people can benefit. Neither parties can have an exchange where nobody benefits, right? So an exchange doesn't necessarily mean it's equal, but we can see a positive exchange. When someone gifts you something for your birthday, you receive, and what do they receive? Some value from your connection, whether it was your time, the way that you've shown up for them, maybe it was money that you had given them prior, you had given them a gift prior, so now they feel it's their turn to reciprocate. That is a positive exchange. Both people are benefiting. And there are ways in which, because we are programmed to look at what we don't have and a lack of things in our life, it is very hard for us to see money as an energy, because abundance is something that we feel like is only attached to our bank account, right? When we're thriving, when we have more money than we need, when we're making 6 figures and have more money than we can fathom, we feel like we are in abundance. But abundance is not just in physical things. Abundance is, like I said, the friendship connections that you have with people. And abundance can look like the time that you have given yourself to engage in nature or in hobbies that fuel you. And so I think that's all that we have to be really mindful of when we're talking about money as an energy. Money is not just an energy. Money is energy, but it's not only energy. And I think that's where we need to make an adjustment in language and how we approach that subject. I think when people say money is energy, people feel like they are dismissing the other realities of money that doesn't have to do anything with just energetics. But I feel like you cannot talk about money without talking about energy, because energy is involved in everything. If you were living, if you were breathing right now, that is energy in itself, right? When I work with clients, I challenge them to look at where does abundance lie in their life? Where do they see it? Where do they witness it? How can they look at their day-to-day and present moment and reflect on how abundant they are? When you realize you have abundance around you, that you are already rich, you are already wealthy, you align yourself with the feeling of someone who is wealthy. When you embody wealth, abundance, and feeling like you have everything that you need, it is from that place that it is much easier to call in more money, because you are looking for the positives. And when you look for the positives, you are always looking for the opportunities. And even if you're not actively looking, opportunities will come. They will not pass you by, because you are always aware of the good things that are happening in your life. And like I said, money shows up outside of just the physical aspect of what we deem it to be. When your car is down and it's broken and you don't have the money to fix it, and you have a neighbor or friend that's, don't worry, for the next few months until you get your money up, I will pick you up and drop you to work on my way to work. That is money right there, right? The money you would have taken to pay for gas or public transport, you now don't have to put out because you have somebody that has access to that is now able to extend that by helping you and taking you now to work. So if you look at it, if you zoom out and see the bigger picture, it is so much easier to see how money is an energy, is a form of energy, and how we can manipulate it, not in a sense where we are manipulating it and it is harming someone else, but manipulating it and being smart about how we remain abundant, even if we lack the physical, tangible object in which society has deemed is the only way to exchange things. We've all heard that saying that time is money. That is another great example of a different type of energetic exchange. You can exchange your time. You can exchange your emotional bank, your mental bank, your physical bank, your social bank. So what bank do you want to give from? And back to what I said, if you want to take the time to reflect and journal at this point, my question to you is, where can you find abundance in your life right now? Where can you seek the opportunities to exchange, to have an exchange without having to think of money in a physical sense? Where have you done this in the past? Where have you done this in the present? Where do you plan to do this in the future? How can you get creative as to how you are using your money in a way that gives back to you? How could we look at the way you are receiving money? What type of work do you do? How do you choose to serve? Are you choosing to serve because of just the financial dollars that are coming your way? And what do you get in return? Are you making six figures, but you're extremely burned out? All your relationships are falling apart. Your health is falling apart. That is not a good energetic exchange when it comes to money, right? Yes, in the physical sense, you are rich, but you are rich in all the other areas of your life. And that, in essence, is the work that I do. I am not solely focused on how much money you can make, but my biggest mission is to help you maximize abundance. Sometimes there isn't any other way around an energetic exchange except to use money. It's easier to go to the grocery store and buy an apple than to grow and harvest your own apple. So money is just a tool, the resource, but not the only tool to facilitate energetic exchanges. How can we appreciate the idea of money outside of the traditional ways in which we have been taught to view it as? Think about how rich you are to even just have breath, to be able to breathe. That is currency you cannot devalue. If you are not breathing, you are not here. So if you can look at that and say, I am breathing today, that is my version of wealth. That is how I am caring for myself. And that is why I should show gratitude and look forward to more to come. You will notice the expansion and how you feel about yourself and how you feel about the world, and watch how that becomes reflected in your everyday. Watch how, by having that mindset shift, opportunities unfold for you. All right, I'm so embarrassed. This sweat is probably looking so bad on camera right now, but if I can share my view right now. I can't show you all of my view right now, but this is like part of the view I get every morning. Look how beautiful those clouds are. The palm trees swaying. I get up every morning and I'm like, wow, how many people pray to be here right now? Most people give up 2-3 weeks of working to have this, or take from their vacation bank to have this. And I'm grateful I don't have to do the same, that I am supported in other ways. I'm able to be out here to record this video, to grow my business in an environment that feels nurturing for me. I know having conversations around money can be hard, and so often we tie our self-worth to what is in our bank account, but you are much richer than you realize. Money is not just tied to physical things, but the feeling, and the feeling of the things around you and the experiences in which you are able to have. That can help you to realize that you are more abundant than you realize. As I said, this is an opportunity to reclaim wealth on your own terms. This is what has helped me reclaim wealth. Everything is energy. Money is energy. Because I exist, I am already abundant. I have more than I can ask for. And of course, we cannot live on breath alone, but those basic necessities are our birthright. They are given to us. You should be able to walk to the river, have a drink, and grab fruit off a tree. It just so happens to be that, yes, we live in a material world, and there are structures and systems that exist that have limited our ability to tap into that abundant frequency, right? When you are told, this is mine, this is yours, private property exists now under this capitalistic structure. What you thought was yours, what you thought God had given to all his children who live on earth is not yours. Things get tricky, right? Now people have to pay for resources that should not have a price tag attached to it. And that is the issue that I have when it comes to money being an energetic exchange, and why so many people aren't able to see money as energy, because it has been stolen. It has been stolen by the few. So that just goes to show you the politics of the systems and the structures that exploit resources in which we have that are supposed to be available to everybody, but unfortunately isn't. But I think if we're able to realize that we are more abundant than we are, and yes, there are systems in place to restrict that, if anything, that is more of a responsibility on us to advocate for that, to look at traditional ways humans have lived and coexisted with each other centuries before industrialism kicked in and this capitalistic idea of how we are supposed to exchange resources came into existence. If we can go far beyond that and look at other systems and appreciate other systems that did prioritize and value the many having access to the natural resources that are already here on this earth, that is what we should look at and embody and challenge this existing system to adopt some of these older practices into another system that is more beneficial for us all. So that's all I'm going to say about that. But I promise this is the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.